So we met in junior high, and he was really tall and gangly, and I was really short and like self-conscious, you know. So we had a nice little junior high back and forth flirtationship going on. It was all good. In 8th grade, we went on our first date. We went to Starbucks, classy. And so, I mean, it was super awkward, but nothing exceptionally horrific happened. So I felt great about it. I'm thinking, you know what, like, I'm so cool. He's gonna ask me out, he's gonna be my boyfriend. Like, we're going strong, it's awesome. So clearly that did not happen. I would not be telling this story. Yeah, I guess he had other ideas because we continued our little flirtationship for a while longer through high school. So in high school, we just kept doing the back and forth, you know. I was kind of like, hey, and he was like, hey. And then, so that was fun, but not really because it was awkward. And then, let me see, so that continued. And, you know, he was really shy. And so I would have to take all the initiative to try to like move our relationship forward, which of course it never went forward because we were just so awkward. And so, and he would also refuse to go to school dances, like eliminating all possibilities of us doing anything potentially romantic, so that was also unfortunate. And about midway through high school, I was like, okay, enough is enough. I really don't want to just awkwardly flirt with you anymore. It's time to end this. So I sort of broke it off. And this just made it even more uncomfortable when we saw each other in the hallway. But you know what, like into junior year, we kind of like felt the tension that, hey, maybe there's still something there. So around senior year, we start talking again, we go on a little date, and you know, the date was good, nice, sufficiently non-awkward, you know, much better than our 8th grade date. And it was nice, you know, we had a little lunch, went on a little hike, he drops me off at my house, I text him and say, hey, thanks for the date, had a great time, you know, maybe we can hang out again sometime. I wasn't totally feeling the date, but you know, I could do it again, just see where it goes. So I texted him, and lo and behold, never texted me back. So thus ends the story of my first crush.
Alright, so my first crush ever is, well, Princess Leia, especially in the bikini. But as for real people, I think it was 3rd grade. I was friends with this girl and she had like pretty blonde hair. Her name was Madison. Had a super huge crush on her. And so we were sitting talking and I was like, oh, it's too bad girls can't get married. And my teacher chimes in, she's like, no, actually, they can. And I like got super excited and looked at my friend, she's just kind of like, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's not a normal thing to want. So, yeah, so that may be why I was in the closet for so long, I don't know. I really didn't understand as a kid, you just don't want to be different.
Okay, so in kindergarten, I liked this guy, and I always had a thing with guys with really good hair. Like it was just a special place in my heart, forever, always, still to this day. Anyway, so what happens is there's this kid in my kindergarten class with like really great blonde hair for a kindergartner, and little Lee was just like swooning, you know what I mean? So then basically what happens is I was really shy. Like I was afraid to talk to some people. So obviously, like, you know, instead of talking to him like any normal person would have, I just, every time I walked past him for that entire year, I just went past him and ruffled his hair. So that's good. But it's funny because I ended up finding him on Facebook after I graduated high school, and we talked for like a day. So that was pretty cool. So little Lee was jumping for joy, and he still has great hair, in case anyone was wondering. So that guy's friend, and his best friend to this very day, basically what happened was, I remember it was around St. Patrick's Day, and I come inside and I'm like, I'm so excited, I found a 4-leaf clover, this is fantastic. And so this guy's like, let me see it, I don't believe you. So I'm like, look at it, man, it's a 4-leaf clover. So he takes it and he just throws it on the ground and starts stomping on it, and I was like, that's, you know? And for the rest of my life, he was known as the guy who stepped on my 4-leaf clover. But while I was lurking my entire kindergarten class on Facebook, like any normal person who moves away with you, not really, but whatever, I found him, and I also, like, you know, I messaged basically everyone because I was like, why not? Blast from the past. And he's actually adorable right now. He's every girl's dream. He's like a football player with also like, He's in a band. He's a surfer. He's everything a guy could be. So that's great. So now I have a crush on him. Not back then. Back then I hated him. So that's good. They're still best friends though. So.
Okay, so my first crush was when I was in kindergarten. There was a boy that I went to preschool with, and I think his name was Alex, but I'm not really sure because I don't remember because I'm an awful human being. And so what we did is that we would play on the playground, and he would be Eric from The Little Mermaid, and I would be Ariel, and we would like have little adventures together as like Ariel and Eric. And that was all I remember about, I think, said Alex.
Okay, so in the first grade, there was this boy, and his name was Dimitri, and I took one look at him and completely fell in love, whatever that means for a 6-year-old. And the movie Anastasia was like my favorite movie, and the guy in that movie, his name was Dimitri also, so I immediately associated him with that and was like, oh my god, it's him, I need to be with him. And so I was walking in the hallway one day with my class, and I saw that he was walking this way with his class, so I really wanted to say hi to him. So as he was coming up, I started to go, hi, and then I got really nervous and went, hi, and started pretending to do all these like karate moves, and I just looked such like a creep and a weirdo because I don't know karate, so I was just doing like really random things, and he just kind of looked at me and was like, okay. That was that. Never talked to me, and still doesn't talk to me, so it's fine.
Okay, so I had a lot of first crushes when I was little, but my first like really big crush slash like emotional invoking experience was with someone when I was like, oh my goodness, 15, 16 maybe, and I worked at a theme park, and I was unfortunately in a fuzzy character, and I was in a dance show, and so I did lots of shows a day outside in like 100 degrees or hotter weather, and on this particular day I came in from a really exhausting show, and so of course my hair was like just soaking wet. I looked like I came out of a pool. I was wearing like leggings and like this ratty like soaking wet white t-shirt, and so I like unzipped my costume as fast as I could because I needed water and I had to pee. So I was wrestling with the costume and I unzipped it, and I finally like got all of the padding off and all of these things, and I was in Tweety Bird. So I had this like giant head and I unstrapped it and everything, but I had to go so badly that I left the feet on, and the feet are like half the size of my body. So I'm like running to the bathroom, and in this theater there was like the backstage area, and then it was the green room and like some other dressing rooms and stuff like that. So I had to go through the back of the stage and into like the dressing room area, which is where the bathrooms were. So I'm like running and running and running, and I turned the corner and I like ran into this person, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't even know what to say. This person was so handsome, and like he was just charming, you could already tell. And I just like ran into him like, oh my god, I look like a mess right now. My hair is soaking wet. It's in like this huge bun that's like everywhere on my head. I don't even know what it looks like. And so I ran into him, and both of us of course are like so awkward, and we're like, oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry, oh my god. So then it was just awkward, and we kind of just like looked at each other for a minute, like maybe like 30 seconds. It was so strange, but it was like comfortable. It was so weird, and it was so cool, and I kind of just knew then. And yeah, so at this point in time I still had to go to the bathroom really bad, so of course I've got like all of that nervousness going on, and then I have this boy next to me, and I'm like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Devin, say something, you're literally just standing there. So then I like introduced myself because I didn't really like know what to say, and I was like, oh, I'm Devin or whatever, and then he told me his name, and then I like turned around, and I guess at this point I had put on my dance jacket, and so I had on this like big blue jay, and he had gone to the rival high school of like my high school, and so he recognized it, and I guess like he didn't really know what to say, so he kind of just brought that up, and he was like, Washington, and I like turned back around, and I was like, oh, okay, he's talking to me again, this is great. So I'm like, more topics. And so I turned around and I was like, yeah, you can go to Borgia. And I think I knew that because somebody had like told me about him, but I had never met him and like never even thought anything of it. And so we're like kind of talking awkwardly, not really knowing what to say. And meanwhile, like everyone on stage, he was in rehearsals at this time and I was doing shows already. So everyone on stage is like calling his name, and he's like just totally oblivious to it, and I am too, I guess, at the time. And we were just like talking, and then he like said my name again, but he said it wrong. He said it as like Devon, and I'm like, yeah, and then I said his name wrong. So it's just so awkward, and yeah, so from that moment on, I kind of just like knew he was the one and whatever. And yeah, then I went to the bathroom, and it was all good from there. So yeah.
So my first crush was when I was in first grade, and his name was Luke, and I really liked him. He was cute and blonde and short, and we had class together. But this girl, who I thought was my friend, like my first bully basically, nasty girl, whatever, she told everybody in the class one day in first grade when we were doing spelling tests, she whispered in everybody's ear and she's like, Sophia likes Luke. And I felt really bad about it. So like I started crying, and then I went up to Mrs. Chen, our teacher, and I was like, listen, she's crazy and she's like ruining my life, and like she's telling everybody that like I like Luke and it's gonna ruin everything. And Mrs. Chen was like, it's okay, Sophia, just calm down, it's gonna be okay. But I was really upset about it. So he knew, like everybody knew that I liked him, but nothing ever happened. And then he left school, but he still lived in the area, and he like went to like a Catholic school or something, and then he came back in 7th grade. And we sat next to each other in science class, and like I sat in the back just so I could sit next to him, even though I couldn't hear anything, and I really didn't do well that year in science, so I couldn't hear anything because of the air conditioner, but it was okay because I was sitting next to him. And we like talked a little bit like here and there, whatever, but we never actually really hung out except like at birthday parties and stuff like that. And then my senior year of high school, he was at my after prom randomly. Like I was with my group from my high school, and somehow he had his group from high school to a different high school, and he came there, and I was like, oh my god, hi. And like we were at this like big like after prom party and like, you know, by the beach and stuff, and it was really fun. Like we hung out and stuff, and like he knew that I still liked him, but nothing ever happened. But you know, he still has a special place in my heart, the first little boy I ever liked, my first crush. And yeah, he still hasn't accepted my friend request on Facebook. You know, he doesn't really associate with that. He doesn't even have a microwave. But I always see his mother whenever I'm like in the area, and she's so nice, and she knows that I like him. And he has an older sister, and like she knows, everybody knows, but it's cool.
All you need is love.
A girl has got to eat.
All you need is love.
She'll end up on the street.
All you need is love.
Love is just a game.
I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for loving me.
The only way of loving me, baby, is to pay a lovely fee.
Just one night, give me just one night.
There's no way if you won't pay.
In the name of love, one night in the name of love.
You crave